about some of the idiosyncrasies of the crew? Some of the individuals on the crew who, I don't know, might be missing a lug nut every now and then, I guess.
Well, at one point they're all missing one or two or sometimes three.
You guys are busy. I mean, you guys are professionals. This is what you do. But does it get to be every now and then like a fraternity? Walking on maybe a little hijinks here and there, guys having a little extracurricular fun?
More than you can ever imagine.
Just done the best politically correct interview about your crew I think I've ever heard anybody mention.
You know, you got to be careful. They do tighten the nuts on the bolts on my car, and you don't want bolts going falling off because it hurts. So I can't tell the whole truth.
You're the old man here all of a sudden. It just seems like yesterday you were a young gun. Have you come to grips with the fact that you're now possibly the old veteran?
I'm working on it.
We have to wait now. It's a long wait. It's a really hot wait. I'm sweating. My makeup's running. The biggest thing is I hope I don't break anything. Jeff Burton loses race. Sportscaster ruins Finn.
So in other words, you'd like a media person every race just to help push at least?
Well, I might be stretching it a little bit.
That's what I thought. You crushed me.
You were a part-time school teacher?
Yeah, as a substitute school teacher, yeah.
Okay, what was that like?
That was pretty cool. That was a great job for a race car driver because I didn't have a set schedule in racing, and I couldn't have a job, you know, like a 40-hour-a-week job where, you know, I had a schedule set, and I needed something that was hit and miss. And the substitute school teaching deal was cool. They'd call you up in the morning and tell you what they had to offer, and you know, you go sit in for a 4th grade class or a 11th grade science class or something. And I'm telling you, I realized real quickly how much I didn't know. You know, those kids ask questions, and you come up with all those good teacher lines like, well, let's go look that up, you know? So.
We talked about track bar, we talked about adjustments.
Right.
But a lot of times, we hear the stability and the handling of the car. One of the things that most people don't see is something simple, spring rubbers.
Correct. Springs are located right here behind the wheel on the lower and upper control arms. And this would be an example of that. They put the spring rubber would be inside, stiffens up the spring.
NASCAR has very quietly become a multi-million-dollar business and actually threatens to become a multi-billion-dollar industry. It has also become the second most popular spectator sport in the world. Now, how did it get there? Under very careful stewardship. The gentleman in charge is the president of NASCAR, Mike Helton. Let's go ahead and meet him in a rather rare exclusive one-on-one. Mike, you still have to be a little bit amazed at the explosive growth of NASCAR, and it still isn't done, is it?
Gosh, I hope not, and we don't think it is, and that's why we have so many programs in place to make it bigger and to grow the sport.
You try to find those IDs that make you older than what you are, and you try to make those connections to those places that they'll let you in and not say anything.
Wait a minute.
I didn't say that I did any of that, but you try to find those.
You don't look old enough now, for
know.
crying out loud. You still look like you're 18.
That's why I said I had to find those people to let me in.
You don't fit into the suit because the suit won't fit over your sneakers. If I was John Carchidi, it would fit real easy because I'd be about this big. It's not exactly my size. Of course, the next thing is always finding your other arm. See, I always put the legs in first. Kind of tight here. You're not supposed to do this with your blue jeans on. Thankfully, the diet has worked. There you go. From head to toe. Now completely fireproof, although it's kind of works for somebody a little bit bigger than I am, but it's okay. Damn, we look official now. How do I look in the fire suit, even though it is a little short?
I'd say you look pretty doggone good in that.
My job at this point is to stay out of the way. Okay, this is the piece of the quarter panel that came off the back of Mike's car, and if you look at it, a lot of this is damage done because they had to go ahead and take this off. And if you see a lot of this creasing, this was taken in the actual incident, but this is the piece that had to come off the car, and this is a solid piece. If they would have had any wind come underneath this would have torn off and then probably would have hit another car that would have been traveling behind him. So that's why they had to get this off, and they had to get it off quickly so as not to lose a lap and not be black flagged. But that's a serious piece of damage right there. When it comes down to repairing that kind of a damage, this is what you call high tech. This is an aluminum baseball bat. And they have this, it's not exactly to go ahead and play softball, but this is what they have to go ahead and beat the fiberglass, to beat the sheet metal back. The sights and sounds of NASCAR Motorsports at New Hampshire International Speedway. A very special weekend here in New England as the New England 300 roars into our area of the country. Hi once again, everybody, and welcome in. I'm Ed Berliner, and thanks for joining us for a very special edition of the fastest 60 minutes in sports. We're not only going to learn about NASCAR, you're going to talk to some of the drivers. We're going to give you a look at a NASCAR vehicle like you've never seen it before. We're also going to get a chance to talk to some of the best drivers in NASCAR. Kurt Busch, Greg Biffle, and others will join us. You'll also meet the guy who built this track behind me, the New Hampshire International Speedway, and learn what has made it so important to the New Hampshire sporting scene. That's all coming up right here on the fastest 60 minutes in sports.
Kurt Busch, the defending series champ, gets his 12th career win, the 5th win at Phoenix for Carl Winter Jack Roush, and Busch's first victory of the season.
Fitting that we open up our coverage for the New England 300 weekend at New Hampshire International Speedway with the defending champion of Nextel Cup, Kurt Busch, defending champion. You never get tired of hearing it, do you?
Sounds good. It's the theme of New England right now, right? You guys got it going on.
Well, not only that, but you've owned this racetrack. What is, I mean, I know you've been asked this a million times, but people still want to know, what is special about New England and New Hampshire?
It's one of those tough racetracks where if you catch a setup, it usually runs pretty good for a couple of years, but it's mainly about getting the 4 tires to work together to help you get to victory lane. You can't abuse your tires, you got to stick low in the corners.
All right, now when you say abuse your tires, this is a lot of the inside stuff that people love to hear. Do you ever get a crew chief come into your headset and go, "You're abusing the tires, you're abusing the tires"?
Well, that might mean when he says you're running too fast of a pace. And sometimes that's not the best thing to do. And you have to moderate your situation versus your tires and your fuel. It's all that racing jargon. It's a combination of getting it right. So we've hit it right the last couple times.
What has it been like for you this year? I mean, have you managed to relax and still be the happy-go-lucky guy that people knew back in Las Vegas?
Man, it's been full throttle this year with the championship and the different things our sponsors have been wanting to do and different TV shows, all the places we've been, and it's been great though. I mean, we've won 1 race, so I guess we're doing our job there okay, but we're 10th in points. It's time to go now.
How do you keep from being starstruck and losing yourself in all of the things that you're asked to do?
This sport's very humbling, and it's real easy to get knocked back down into the basement based off some of your past finishes. And so with the championship, it does last all year. Nobody can knock us off till the end of the year, but you still have to go to each race with an opportunity to try to win and just keep the bright outlook and the optimism about how to do your job the same way, even though there is some notoriety with it.
Who's the person that you turn to when you start to get a little down, maybe you get a little depressed after a race?
I go to my crew chief. He's a very wise veteran. He knows our sport. He's been through A to Z, and that's Jimmy Fennig. He's my crew chief. Him and I can't do it without each other. We have to go race hard.
I swear, it's almost like a crew chief becomes a psychiatrist after a while, don't they?
They're a coach, that's for sure. If the driver gets out of line or if the player gets out of line, he's got to smack him around.
Now I'm going to ask you some stuff off racing right now, because come on, you deal with racing all the time. Growing up in Las Vegas,